Hey, Coach. Just wanted to just first ask about the film. Obviously, you always take a detailed look at it. What you see? Did you see pretty much what you saw in the game, or are there some things that stick out to you even more after watching the film?
I mean, when you look at it, just based on last night's game, there was a playoff type response, I think, from both teams in that, they did some things to stop our, rim attacks. They topped us, and we talked about, the counters that we have built into our offense to take away, or counteract what other teams can do to us. But they did a pretty good job of slowing us down. And then in the second half, we were a lot better at, attacking their top blocks on our pin downs. And then defensively, we just had a lot of miscommunications on our switches in the first half. In the second half, we were much better. And then I thought in the fourth quarter, you could see there was an effort to box out Finney Smith. If he doesn't take the shot, he's going to the basket to get an extra possession. And there was an effort to keep him off the glass. There were times where he got his hands on the ball, and we fouled him one time, but I thought our box out awareness was a lot better. Josh had the one dunk off of an air ball, but we didn't box him out. So we talked about that, playing good defense, but not giving teams, or life at the end of a possession by giving up, offensive rebounding. So those were the things that stuck out. And then transition defense is something that we have to be a lot more diligent in our, efforts to get back, sprint, turn, talk, the things we talk about all the time.
Just a quick follow. Didn't see Nader play last night. He had been a guy that did get into the rim. Is he hurt? Any reason why he didn't play? And then what's looking at Javon? I know you said before you can't play everybody, but where is he at right now in regards to trying to work his way back into possibly playing?
Well, Nader had a sore ankle yesterday, so we kept him out. And as far as Javon is concerned, it's really hard to play um, that many guys. There have been times where we've gone 10, but as it relates to a guard rotation, Chris and Book and Etwan and Langston have done a really good job, and then Mikhail is in that group too. So that's a lot of guards playing in one game. So we're just gonna, continue to go game by game, but it's one of those deals where you just can't play that many guys.
Next up is Kevin Zimmerman with Arizona Sports, followed by Leonardo Torres.
Hey, Monty, kind of going off that with Langston and Etwan playing the last few games, what have you seen from them, good and bad, and kind of what has been that process of getting those guys acclimated just because they're not in roles where they're going to play a lot of minutes like Chris, where they can kind of learn with you as it being their first year and all that?
I mean, they just know how to play, that whether it's a zone defense or man, I think they have experience. You can watch those guys communicating on the floor. They know what to say, and they're in, even if they're not as fast on certain plays, they're usually in the right spot. And that's something that veterans, no matter what program you put them in, they kind of know what spots to be in. And then offensively, they've been able to get us organized. The ball movement with that group and the player movement with Etwan, Langston, and Frank has been pretty good for us. And we want to continue to grow that. Certainly not anything that we, feel like is close to perfect, but those guys give us a great lift when they come into the game. They play the way we want to play. They make the right plays on offense. They get great shots on offense. And those two guys, Langston and Etwan, actually turned down shots, especially Etwan, that he could take. And he values getting us organized. And Frank has done a good job. As I've said so many times, he just connects both sides of the floor the right way. I thought he made some really good passes to Mikal last night. One time he had an alley-oop that Mikal just missed, and then he hit Mikal again for a dunk. He turned the one over. I think he was trying to throw it to Langston or Etuan, I forget. But Frank with those two guys has given us some really good production.
Next is Leonardo Torres from Peru, and then Cameron Cox.
Coach, are you in favor of the All-Star game, considering the schedule and how difficult is it for everyone?
Leonardo, I haven't really thought about it. I was of the mindset that we weren't having one, and then I heard about this new thing that's come up with having an All-Star game, or at least voting for All-Stars, and I saw something about a dunk contest. I just haven't thought about it. I couldn't give you anything that's worth writing down because I've just been so focused on our team. But I know the All-Star game is good for the game. I just don't know if we have the proper time for it. And, our guys are playing a lot of basketball. And we have so many back-to-backs and the travel and all the stuff we're doing right now. That would be my only concern is the guys who would play in that game are typically the guys who play heavy minutes. And so adding more travel and something else on their schedule with all of this going on, I'm not quite sure if the players would be up for it, other than the bonuses that they probably have in their contract that might make you want to do it. But I haven't given it a lot of thought, and I don't plan on it. I'm hopeful that our guys are in it if they do have it. If we continue to get better, I think we'll have a shot at having guys in the game.
Next is Cameron Cox with 12 News, and then Gina Mizell.
Hey, Coach, hope everything is going well. Coach, wanted to ask you about Chris, the person. Does it ever amaze you how many things he's involved in and then can drop a triple-double in a game, being the president of the Players Association, working on that docuseries for ESPN, and then I think a report today where he's hoping the All-Star game happens so they can donate some of that money for COVID relief. And, this is just crazy, all the things that he's involved in.
It is absolutely insane. To be able to have that kind of energy, I can only compare it to my own life. I couldn't imagine trying to juggle all of that and still do it all at such a high level and have the respect of every environment that he's working in. It's amazing. That people are built differently, and he's built for it. And I've known Chris a long time. This is not anything new. He's always been involved in a lot of stuff that is intentional on making lives better. And that's the thing that I love about it. It's not just, let me get involved with this to make some money, or let me get involved with this because I don't have anything else to do. It's usually something that's foundationally centered to make someone's life better. And whether it's dealing with HBCUs or working with children in the inner city, doing stuff that he does with his AAU teams, to all the stuff that you guys know about it, it's amazing. I have enough on my plate just going to work and making it back home, without getting a ticket on Tatum. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to get from the practice site to my house without getting a violation, man. He's got a lot going on.
Final two questions are going to be Gina Mizell with Suns.com and Dwayne Rankin.
Hey, Monty. First of all, I will say I've been caught by those radar lights on Tatum, so be careful. But my actual question is back to Chris. You mentioning last night that play for the game winner was something that you had seen him run before. I'm just curious, is that from past film that you'd watched on him just from years past? Was that from conversations with him as far as, hey, what are some things that you've run in the 10 years since we worked together that you really like? Just I'm kind of curious about the origin of sort of that discussion with him and ended up running that play in such a crucial moment last night.
No, I mean, we all of us coaches tend to watch each other, and Doc is somebody that I've always admired as far as his end of game plays, his ATOs, that kind of thing. And I would watch their playoff games, and we have ATO sorter, a database that that I refer to. And what people don't understand is it is so hard to get off a shot in those moments. And so the execution of the play was just, all those guys on the floor. But when I drew it up, I just looked at him and I said, this is JJ's play. And he knew exactly what I was talking about. And then, so he kind of knew the timing. But, I'd love to tell you that, it was just how I drew it up, but that's just not the case. I mean, the willingness to make that a bounce pass with a 6'11" guy on you, and then Book's ability to fly off that thing full speed and stop on a dime and raise up, and DA screen, that's where the attention should be. All of us coaches are trying in end of game situations, but it's really, really hard to just get off a shot.
Final question is Dwayne Rankin with the Arizona Republic.
Because looking at New Orleans, not having obviously the best of year yet. Obviously, Van Gundy's coaching now. They have obviously Zion and Ingram and a bunch of young guys. In addition with Adams, played them earlier this year. Had a really big win against them by a large margin. Maybe what have you seen since then with them, and maybe the challenges that you see facing them again tomorrow?
Well, we certainly know that they can put up numbers on you and quickly. I watched them against Milwaukee the other day, and they dominated that game. They've had some tough opponents come through here and had some close losses, but they're a team that, a lot like us, looking for continuity, new system, new coach, new players. They lost Drew. That's a lot to deal with. And so when I look at them, I see a dangerous team. Our guys know it. They're already planning for what they're going to face in Ingram and Zion. And Josh Hart's a guy that's a really good basketball player, doesn't get enough credit. Bledsoe shooting the ball a lot better, he and Lonzo. So we understand. I say it all the time. I'll continue to say it. We cannot just show up and expect to win. We have to come out and be intentional about our game plan and execute it properly. And we want to try to make this a great trip. And if we can have a good shoot around tomorrow morning with a great deal of focus, we'll be on our way to doing that.
Yeah, Frank, just wanted to ask you just your perspective of seeing that last play and with Booker hitting that shot. Maybe take us through how you were seeing it from your vantage point.
Well, obviously I saw it being drawn up in the timeout. Knew it was a pretty good play. The way they were playing defense, we knew they'd be aggressive, trying not to let us get an easy two. And Mikhail really ran that play well. Chris got himself open. Just the execution on it was really good. And I mean, I guess you guys got to know who we were going to turn to at the end of the game there. And Book just always makes big play after big play. He shoots those shots with confidence. And when the play's drawn up for him, we all have the confidence that he's going to make it.
And just a follow-up. I mean, you guys have obviously now won 3 in a row. Just what's the feeling now amongst the guys as far as the camaraderie? And it's always better when you win, but what sense do you get as far as mood and attitude with you guys right now?
We're just a good group. We got a good spirit about our team. We got a great culture. Our gym's always good. It's just fun right now. Winning is fun. When you play the way we've played the last 3 games, it's a good feeling. Obviously, you want to win as many games as possible. That's obviously the goal for this year is just to win by any means necessary. And when you go out, have fun and play like we've been playing. And obviously this last game, winning on the last possession, executing at the end of the game, something we kind of struggled with there for a little stretch. It makes it that much more satisfying.
Next is Gina Mizell with Suns.com.
Hey Frank, yeah, I know winning makes everything better and is way more fun than the opposite. But when you kind of just look at the game overall, maybe the last couple games, like what are the biggest things that you feel like the team is still fine tuning or still maybe needs to kind of work through as you guys continue to move ahead throughout the season?
Execution has been one of our struggles, especially down the stretch, but we've gotten better at it. That comes with watching a lot of film, walking through a lot of different stuff. I know we all like to say, there's 8 new guys on the team and we're all learning how to play with each other and all that kind of stuff. But I think we're 20 games in now. We got to take our game to the next level. We figured out how to play with each other. We know the system we're running. We know what we're doing on offense and defense. If we stay disciplined and play our brand of basketball for 48 minutes, I think we've seen the template of how good we can be.
Next is Dwayne Rankin with the Arizona Republic.
Had Mikhail finished like that in the previous game, you'd have got your triple-double, right?
Yep. Yeah, he owes me 2 and Dooley owes me 1. So I was telling people after the game, in my mind, it counts. This layup, those ones count because they got fouled on them too and made both free throws. So I don't know. I'll take it.
Just a follow up on that. What has been, and you had said before how you reached a point where, hey, look, I'm gonna just go out and play and give what I have, and that you'd already gone through that learning phase, and that's continued for you. What's working for you right now? You feel?
Just being vocal on defense. I know what spots to be in. I know our coverages. That's something I've gotten better and better at throughout my career is trying to be a smart defender. It's obviously making the transition from a 4 to now pretty much a 5. That was a little difficult at first, especially last year. It's a different set of coverages. You got to be more vocal. You got to be kind of a quarterback there on defense. I feel like I'm doing a better job of that this year. Offensively trying to be that guy that moves the ball from side to side, hit cutters, make sure our offense is running smoothly. I'm just trying to go out and be aggressive. That's my mindset every single day. Just be aggressive, go out there, try as hard as you can, both in practice and in games. And I guess kind of whatever happens from there happens from there.
Final 2 questions would be Gina Mizell with Suns.com and Kaylee Connors.
Hey, Frank, one more for you. I know that normally road trips are kind of where that camaraderie is built. And I know there's protocols and you guys have to do things to make sure that you're safe. But I think this is kind of the first time where you had the extra day in Dallas and you were kind of there for a period of time. You had the extra day here in New Orleans before the game tomorrow. Like, are there things that you guys are able to do to try to still build that camaraderie, even with the understandable restrictions and the protocols, just because, like you said, there are still a lot of new guys on this team that, you're all trying to still bond together, I'm sure.
Yeah, obviously it's not the same as normal, but a lot of that has to come on the court this year. With our shooting groups, with our practices, with our walkthroughs, with film sessions, with, eating in a hotel, just doing different stuff. You really got to put some more time in it to learn who you're playing with, learn your guys, learn about them a little bit. Obviously, basketball when you're playing, that's the easy part is when you're playing, but not everybody gets that kind of hangout camaraderie like on the plane, in the hotel rooms, on the road, going out to dinners, doing stuff like that. It's not all the same, but you just got to put a little bit more effort into the small stuff, things maybe you just take for granted in a normal season.
Final question will be Kaylee Connors with Cronkite News.
Hi, Frank. I was just wondering, with the announcement of Diana Taurasi re-signing with the Mercury, if you could speak on what her legacy is for the city of Phoenix and basketball overall.
I got to meet Diana a couple times. I always tell everybody, when I was hurt last year and sitting behind the bench, there was a couple games where she would come to the games and sit right there behind our bench. and she would ask me, what our play calls were, what we were running, what we were, on ATOs, our after timeout plays, what the looks were, what we called it. And I was impressed by, she doesn't just watch basketball. She's always studying the game. And obviously, I go back to the gym at nights sometimes, and she's been in there, and obviously got to talk to her. Since I can remember, my dad was a women's high school basketball coach, and he coached a small top college team. So I'm very familiar with the women's basketball game, and Diana Taurasi's always been one of the biggest names. And she means so much to the Phoenix community. I know how much she loves it and how much we love her. And so happy she's back. And honestly, in my book, she's a GOAT. So, I'm lucky to have met her and had some interactions with her, and hopefully there's more in the future.